Welcome everyone. Welcome to the special meeting, the 2nd of December 2020. Welcome to everyone here, everyone that's watching online and on our social media channels. Remember, this meeting is open to the public and is being live streamed. I'd like to acknowledge the Mayor, Councillor Antonio, my portfolio leader, Councillor Bill Carl, all the councillors, the CEO, Brian Pidgeon, the General Manager, Stuart Summers, all the planning staff and all the people in the gallery. So I'd like to start by acknowledging the Aboriginal parties whose song lines traverse these lands we meet on today, the Western Waka Waka, Guybil and Jarrawa peoples, and pay our respects to elders past, present and emerging, for they hold the knowledge, rich traditions and bold ambitions of Australia's first peoples. So I don't think we have any apologies. Do we need to grant anyone leave of absence? No. And do I have any declarable conflicts of interest?
Madam Chair, in respect to item 4, MCU 2019, 3, assessment change representation for development permit for material change of use, impact, extractive industry, increase maximum extraction from 100,000 tonnes per calendar year to 500,000 Road, Rocky Mountain. I wish to inform this meeting that I have a declared conflict of interest in this matter as defined in section 15E(en) of the Local Government Act of 2009. The nature of my interest is as follows. This declarable conflict of interest arises because my self-managed superannuation fund and a freehold quarry that is leased compared to the subject quarry. Dealing with a declarable conflict leaving the meeting while this matter is being discussed and voted on.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Can I have someone move that we have a suspension of standing orders? Councillor O'Shea, Councillor McDonald, all those in favour? And while the Mayor is carried, so while the Mayor is leaving, I refer to his declaration of declarable conflict of interest, and Councillor Antonio is leaving the meeting. So, councillors, we have one item today, and that is the assessment of the change representation for development permit for material change of use, impact extractive industries, so an increase from 100,000 tonnes per calendar year to 500,000 tonnes per calendar year, located at Gents Road, Scrubby Road. And Nadia McLeod, our planner, is going to speak to us. Thank you, Nadia.
Thank you, Madam Chair, councillors, ladies and gentlemen. The report before you considers change representations regarding the conditions of a development approval for a development permit for a material change of use from an extractive industry. Increase maximum extraction from 100,000 tonnes per calendar year to 500,000 tonnes per calendar year at Gents Road, Scrubby Mountain. Wendy, could we please have attachment 2 up, please? Thank you. Could we have figure 1? That's the subject site over there. And it is located within the rural zone, 100 hectare minimum precinct of the planning scheme, and has an area of 46.54 hectares. Could we go to figure 2, please? Thank you. All right, so this figure 2 essentially shows us where our subject site is. It also shows, sorry, I'm a little bit more comfortable with that one there. And that one there shows the council-owned extractive industry. And that there is Scrubby Road, although because of my shaky hand, it's a little bit difficult to see, but Scrubby Road. So essentially we've got, that figure there shows us 3 things. It shows us the subject site, it shows us Scrubby Road, and it shows us the council-owned extractive industry. It's noted that the council-owned extractive industry has an approval for 100,000 tonnes per annum, and that the product that is taken from that quarry is used for road maintenance and upgrades within the Pittsworth area. That's just a little bit of background history there. The subject site benefits from an existing development approval for a material change of use for extractive industry, maximum extraction of 100,000 tonnes per year, and an associated environmental authority. In September 2019, Council received a development application to increase the maximum extraction from 100,000 tonnes per calendar year to 500,000 tonnes per calendar year. The development application was subject to impact assessment. 4 properly made submissions were received during the public notification period, 1 opposing the development and 3 supporting the development. It is noted that the 3 supporting submissions stated that they had no objection to the quarry increasing their extraction rate, provided that Scrubby Road is upgraded. The development application was approved by Council at the special meeting of Council on the 2nd of September 2020. Could we go to attachment 4, please, Wendy? Attachment 4 shows the approved plans, and the approved development includes an increase in the maximum annual extraction rate from 100,000 tonnes per calendar year to 500,000 tonnes per calendar year. No change to the extent of the existing quarry use area, progressive rehabilitation of the completed and exhausted extraction pit sections, hours of operation being 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday to Saturday, blasting activity 1 day in any calendar month between the hours of 9 a.m. to 3 p.m., Monday to Friday, and 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Saturdays. Crushing and screening from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday to Saturday. A maximum of 12 employees, fixed and semi-mobile buildings associated with the works, access to the site via the existing site access to Scrubby Road, and provision of earthen or rock bunds to attenuate noise from the site operations. On the 1st of October 2020, the applicant suspended the appeal period and change representations were received by Council on the 7th of October 2020. On 9 November 2020, the applicant submitted additional change representations. The change representations seek to change conditions 30 to 38, which relate to road works required to be undertaken on Scrubby Road and installation of road traffic signs. The applicant's representations are also seeking financial contributions from Council or other options to assist in the upgrade of Scrubby Road as per the conditions of approval, stating that Scrubby Road is used by other heavy vehicles, including those from the Council quarry, located 4.2 kilometres southwest of the subject site. The assessment of the change representations is summarised as follows. Scrubby Road is constructed to a single carriageway bitumen seal standard, varying in width between 4 metres and 5 metres on an 8-metre wide formation with unsealed shoulders. The applicant submitted a traffic impact assessment which stated that Scrubby Road carries between 225 to 250 vehicles per day, two-way, of which 30% are heavy vehicles. The net increase in daily vehicle movements associated with the increase in production to 500 tonnes per calendar year is estimated to be 80 trucks per day, two-way. As such, with development, total traffic on Scrubby Road would increase to approximately 307 vehicles per day, two-way, of which approximately 50% will be heavy vehicles. Based on the applicant's representations, the completed development would generate a total of 133 vehicles per day, approximately 85% of total vehicles on Scrubby Road. The traffic impact assessment submitted with the development application recommends a widening of the existing sealed width on Scrubby Road to 7.2 metres on a 9.2 formation under both pre- and post-development scenarios. Conditions 30 to 38 requires an upgrade of Scrubby Road to a 2-lane bitumen standard with a width of 6.2 metres with 1.5 metre wide unsealed shoulders. This is commensurate with the standards in PSP number 2 and is of a lesser seal width than that recommended by the traffic impact assessment. In summary, the change representations have been assessed having regard to the applicable assessment framework. It is considered that conditions 30 to 38 of the development approval are reasonable and relevant and required to ensure the proposed development complies with the requirements of the relevant assessment benchmarks in the planning scheme as identified in the report. As such, it is recommended that Council disagree with the change representations regarding the development approval for a development permit for material change of use for an extractive industry pursuant to the provisions of the Planning Act 2016. Thank you.
Well done. Thanks, Nadia. Councillors, questions or comments? Councillor Carol Taylor, yeah.
I'm not sure if this is the right time to make it. I just have to bring Council's attention to page 15 of 522, where the tonnage that council's used out of its quarry is there, and it averages out at 21,670 tonnes per year over 5 years. That figure has been skewed, as has been mentioned by Nadia. The quarry is only used for quarry material for the Pittsworth and Millmerran area, and that's been skewed somewhat by the fact that council, a lot of work was done there to upgrade roads due to the closure of the Coorangarra Road around the mine. So that would be that 15, 16, 16, 17. As has been mentioned, it's 4 kilometres away, and I suggest that our quarry, being that, council should have no responsibility to upgrade the road. The road has only been brought forward by this application, which can take up to 500,000 tonnes, and I think that therein is the story.
Thanks, Councillor Taylor. Did you require a comment from the officer for that? Or?
No, I don't actually, because I know that's correct. Yeah, thank you.
Any other questions? Councillor Carl?
Madam Chair, is it appropriate to ask, I'd like to hear from Mr Quinlan, engineering staff, about the change representation and his views, or the staff's views on the objection to pay this. I just have a thought in the back of my mind, if the roles were actually in fact reversed here and council was applying for a 500,000 tonne quarry, what would we be required to do, or better still, what would be the right thing to do? I'm interested to hear Mr Quinlan's input on these matters, if I may.
Dave? Yeah, thanks, Councillor Carl.
Through you, Madam Chair. In response to Councillor Carl's question, I think, yes, indeed, if the other quarry, Council's quarry, was extending its capacity, or seeking to extend its capacity from 100,000 tonnes to 500,000 tonnes, and this quarry was to remain as it is at 100,000 tonnes, I think the question that Councillor Carl is alluding to is that would there be a requirement on the existing quarry to contribute to the road, and indeed it would not be the case. Council would condition the quarry which is triggering the upgrade to bear the cost of that upgrade. Is that answering the question, Councillor Carl?
Thanks, Dave. Is there any other questions or comments? Councillor O'Shea?
Thanks, Madam Chair. Question maybe towards Mr Brady, who's here at ISG, I'm not sure. I guess my question is the road as it stands now, with the amount of vehicles that it's taking for the haulage and the types of vehicles that are there, is it deemed suitable for the amount of traffic that we have now? And my other question to that is it in any way on our future scope of capital works or plans to be upgraded or anything like that?
Was it Mr Brady that you're asking questions? Sorry.
In your hands, Madam Chair, whoever's suitable to answer.
Might get General Manager Brady to come up. Thanks.
Thank you, Councillor O'Shea. Good morning, good afternoon, councillors. Look, the current road is, like many of our roads across the region, doesn't quite meet the current day standards of what's required for that type of road, irrespective of the type of traffic going on it. That said, that quarry's been there for many years, and to date hasn't contributed anything to that I'm aware of, to the development of the road between the quarry and the highway. And with this significant, very significant increase in tonnage, it really does now push the buttons to ensure that the road is upgraded to the appropriate standard. Council's quarry further to the west, much of the material out of there doesn't even go this direction. A lot of that material also goes westward from our quarry. So this section of the road does get used, but not, it's not that. And if you look in the report to the actual tonnages that we've pulled out of there in the last 5 years, there's less than, I think it's around about 100,000 tonnes in the last 5 years. We're talking about a quarry here that's going to go to 500,000 tonnes per year. So its relativity to the impact on the network is going to be huge, the difference between the two.
So, Mr. Brady, sorry, so take this application out of it. Was this road ever in our plans to be upgraded, from TRC's point of view?
In the medium to longer term, it's not there on program today.
Could I ask a question around the bus stop? So just, am I to understand that having much more traffic is creating more danger for the children? Is that the
Pass back through to the planning team with.
Sure, yeah, thanks, Mike. Thank you, Nadia.
I think probably the one way to answer that, Councillor, is that the subject quarry, currently has approval for 100,000 tonne. They are increasing that to 500,000 tonne. As a result, there is an increase in the number of vehicles that are travelling on Scrubby Road.
Mm-hmm.
And because the current standard, because of the current seal standard of Scrubby Road, it is not meeting the requirements of the increase in the traffic. So the bus stops that you're talking about, if we were to, that's why the conditions have been placed as they were, because that incorporates making sure that when the bus stops are being used by the school bus, that the road, the actual width of Scrubby Road is of a width that is safe enough for vehicles to pass each other. So whilst the traffic impact assessment has recommended a bitumen seal standard of 7.2 metres over a 9.2 metre wide formation, our PSP number 2, in the planning scheme that is, recommends a lesser bitumen seal standard, but we have, because of the extent of the roadworks being over 2 kilometres, it was considered reasonable to have a wider road formation of 9.2 so that you have easy movement of vehicles passing each other. And when the bus stops at the side of the road, you can then, if there's a truck coming behind, that truck can then carry on, so to speak.
Yes, thank you. Yes, thank you. Councillors, exhausted the questions? Okay, thank you. Now we do have the applicant, Mr. Bland, here, who... Are you going to come and speak, Mr. Bland? So like last time, I'll give you a strict 5 minutes. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. Phil Bland's my name. What I'm asking for is not, I don't think it's great for what to do that road up, like where I can contribute to it. But just to answer a couple of questions, Councillor Taylor's question, if my quarry wasn't there, that your Scrubby Mountain quarry would be using a lot more gravel than what it is now, because we are actually making gravel cheaper than what the council can produce it. So if you have a look what we sell to the council for and what your cost is to produce the gravel yourself out of your own quarry, and we are miles cheaper. And so there's a lot of gravel.
Can I just make a comment? That wasn't my point at all. My point was the amount we were taking out of our quarry, which is 4 kilometres away, and a lot of it going the other way, so that's not what my comment...
That's not true, because a lot of it comes out the other way too, to all the other roads, Bonjean or towards that way.
I think, Mr. Bland, maybe we'll just stick with the numbers that we have got coming out of the quarry at the moment. So.
Yeah, righto. So, and to say that we've never did any work on Scrubby Mountain Road, a couple of years ago, I offered to the council 9,000 tonne of gravel, plus a grader, roller, water truck, and I said if the council overseed it, I said let's fix this road. and it came back to me, we can't do that, that'll have to go to tender. So leave that with you. What I'm saying is I believe it's too much for me to do at this moment to build that road on my own back. But I've sort of, like the council, if they could do something like the design, and if I supplied the gravel, the pre-coat, and all that sort of stuff, we sit down like gentlemen and let's fix it, instead of it going on and on. So that's what I'm saying.
Okay. So are you open for questions now, or?
Yeah.
Yep. Any questions or comments, Councillor Shine?
Just a matter of interest, how many people do you employ now, and will you anticipate increasing the work?
But there's eight there, or 8 or 9 at the most, and we probably, it won't have to go up. Like what we're taking there now, it's probably not going to grow, but we're getting right up on our limit, and I'm just doing this to protect myself. Like there's not going to be 500,000 tonne go out the door tomorrow, you know? And if this inland rail doesn't come, we're not going to get any busier than we are.
If I could just, further one, to whom do you, in the main, sell your product at the moment? Is it local industries or people?
It's local, just to sort of like high tech and to like I say, a lot to the council.
Thank you.
There's no further questions or comments for Mr. Bland. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay. So, can I have someone move that we reinstate standing orders? So, Councillor Carl, Councillor Taylor. So, with that, councillors, we have a recommendation there before you, which... Oh, carried. Oh, all those in favour of reinstating standing orders, that's one. That's carried. So the recommendation is that I can't find it, that the council disagree with the change representations regarding the development approval for a material change of permit, for a development permit for a material change of use for extractive industries. So it is recommended that no changes be made to the development approval as per the reason identified in the report. Can I have someone move that? Councillor Carl, seconded. Did you want to move into debate, Councillor Summerfield?
Mover and seconder to go in.
Oh, Councillor Carl, Councillor Taylor.
I was going to move an alternative.
Oh, sorry. Sorry. So all those in favour of the recommendation? That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is carried. Thank you. And did we want a division of the votes? Did we have a division? Yeah. So who was for? Those against? Right, Wendy? Councillor Shine, Councillor Summerfield and Councillor McMahon.
You've got your hand up for both.
Oh, sorry. You're right? 4, yeah. Okay, thank you. Sorry for the confusion.
Missing one.
So you got, are we right, Wendy? Yeah. All those in favour? Third time.
Miss Jeff.
Jeff. Okay. And the mayor's missing. Okay, that's the conclusion of the meeting. Thank you very much. 2:26.